trail vlog today is Poison Spider. It is awesome. I had the hardest obstacle I've ever done in my life. Maybe it's not saying much compared to what you guys can do, but for me, definitely the hardest thing I've done. Pushed myself technically quite a bit. I didn't break anything, so it's always a good day when you do that, but you got to check out this trail. Before you even get to the trail, you see insanely beautiful views with the river, slick red rocks, and you're seeing all this before you even get onto the trail. Some of the most beautiful views on this entire trail are right from the start. You exit the staging area and you start climbing up a hill with red rocks on the side, the river down to the left. I mean, it starts out very beautiful and it sets a great tone for the rest of the day. If you plan on flying a drone out here like I did, just be cautious of the power lines. You can see some in this video right here, but actually behind me over the river, there's some low hanging wires that you could easily miss and smack into your drone. I actually got pretty close on one. I wasn't recording, but just be cautious of that. You don't want to ruin your trip before you even get started. Right as you start to turn this corner, you are going to get your first slick rock hill climb. Not too tough for my Jeep, but I could see a stock vehicle having a little bit of trouble, which the Silverado behind me actually does. This is where they decide to turn around, obviously because they didn't feel comfortable doing it. I have an Offroad 101 course. It's lesson 2 coming out soon. The whole idea is to look up information about the trail so you understand if you or your vehicle can actually handle it. From the get-go, it's pretty slow going. There's a lot of rocks and boulders in the trail that aren't really difficult, but it is enough to slow you down. This is what I would consider the first obstacle of the trail. There is a rock ledge, and as you can see, the closer to the camera you go, the more difficult it gets. My Jeep could not handle that. I actually have a little bit of trouble on this obstacle right here. You're going to see my belly gets hung up. Actually takes me until my 3rd attempt. So what I ended up doing, as you'll see, is I just move further to the right. That way my rear tire is actually on the rocks a little bit more to give my belly a little bit more clearance. But yeah, so if you want a more difficult trail, further left, easier is going to be to the right. Also, on the way back, I do film myself going down this, so stick around for that. You'll get a more frontward angle of this obstacle. You want to be a little more careful than me. As you saw, I just banged the front bumper right there. I was going a little bit too fast in reverse trying to get realigned, but this is the importance of a steel bumper for sure.
There you go. There we go.
This is the first of 3 V notches, this one being the easiest by far. You can go around it if you don't want, but I decided to go through it. Honestly, you just go slow, try to follow the tire tracks, and you're going to notice they go up to the right side of the mountain on the right. You're going to want to put your tires on that to make it through smoothly. And as you can see right here, the trail veers off to the left. That is actually the trail that you would take connecting you to where we're at now as the, I guess, the chicken run, the alternate route. If you're in a Jeep Gladiator like me, you're probably going to want to take this a little bit slower than I do, because this off-camber section, when I come down, I hit my bumper pretty hard. So this is going to be the second major ledge climb, and like the first one, as you see closer to the camera, it gets a lot more intense. There's no way my Jeep could even do that. I wasn't ready for it. Maybe I'll come back when I'm on 40s and got some frame chop bumpers, but more difficult is to the left, and easier is going to be to the right, which is the way I went. But if I didn't have this Jeep, a lot of the trail from here forward is this slick rock type surface, except for it's really lumpy and wavy. It's unique driving for sure. But to be honest, it gets a little bit old after a lot of it, just because you are going so slow and it kind of jerks you around a bit. It's still fun to do because it is so different than what I'm used to. After a lot of the rocky rough section, it does change to some wide open desert. So you get to pick up a little bit of speed here, kick it in two-wheel drive. It also turns into some actual deep sand, almost sand dune type feeling, which is pretty cool as well. But that variety doesn't last very long. After you round this corner, you're going to see this tall ledge on the right, and that is when this sand section ends. We're about 2.5 miles into Poison Spider. Super fun so far. A lot of really cool, these slick rock climbs. I'll show you this one. Just went up this one right here. Drug the hitch pretty bad, but that's why I got the little hitch slider. Probably one of the best upgrades I've had on this trip so far. But it's just gorgeous out here. I mean, look at all these rock formations. I love too, all these obstacles out here have multiple choices, so you can go, you know, easy, medium, and hard, or extreme, which is really cool. I've been trying to do as hard as I can handle for the most part. The Jeep's doing pretty good. Banging bumpers a lot, but having a good time. So it's interesting because you got some nice sand for a little bit, and then you get this slick rock, and it's like a road. You just follow all the way up. You just follow the tire marks. Alright, this looks like a fork in the road in the trail, but really I came from the trail on the left, and where my Jeep is sitting at, I did a full U-turn because I wanted to take this next hill climb on the right from a more straight-on perspective. So I wanted to approach it with my wheels forward. If I would have just came from that other trail, I would have been at an angle. So your smaller wheelbase vehicle might be able to handle it, but not my Gladiator. One thing about this part of the trail, and actually honestly throughout, is I didn't realize how much flex I'm getting on some of these obstacles. I mean, look at how flexed out my Jeep is right there, and when you're inside it, it doesn't really feel like that. So definitely want to be mindful of how much flex you're getting on different parts of the trail. Alright, we're 2.82 miles in, going up to what they're calling the Wedgie V-notch. Looks pretty intimidating. I haven't really done a V-notch like this ever. I've only done kind of some smaller versions, but nothing like this. So I'm gonna go up to it. Daniel's gonna kind of spot me and film. We'll see how it looks. Honestly, I'm not afraid to walk away from something if I'm worried about body damage, but let's give it a shot. So I would say my obstacle guide for this is to keep your passenger side high up on the right side of your vehicle. So the passenger side, you're going to see my wheels start to climb right now, and that's what you're going to want to do. I climb it up slightly higher as we go, but you're probably not going to want to go much higher than I currently am. You can see how flexed out this is. So just try to keep it as level as you can, and I think you'll be all right. Just keep your tires centered in the middle of the V-notch. So what I'm feeling now is I think you really got to hug the wall to the right. It's just, you got to keep your tire up, because if you go too far driver, I think you're literally going to just slam into that wall. It's funny now to look back at the footage and just feel like this actually wasn't that tough, even though in the moment it felt really intimidating. And I think that's what's so fun about this trail. There's so many moments that you can gain confidence from. Now, this is a V-notch that comes up not much after that one, and I will say, even if I did it again, I would still be nervous. The side of the rock that is on the driver's side is very steep, and you gotta use your sidewall of your tire to climb up it, and just trust your tires not to slip. Hold on. Yeah, I think I gotta go much further driver. Too far.
How does my passenger look?
I think if you go straight up where you're at right now, you'll be okay, but...
What? I was just saying that's the hardest obstacle I think I've ever done in my life, probably. Because that had the most to lose. All right, so this is the V-notch that I just did. Like I was saying, this is probably the hardest obstacle I've ever done in my Gladiator. But I wanted to say what I learned. Well, one, very deep sand. But I put my tire way up here. Like, I feel like it was almost this high. Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah.
About right here. So, and I came up and I was too low and it started to slip. Right when you start slipping, stop, reverse. I then turned in even more, hit this too far. So you gotta almost come right in this little cut right here and then find your way all the way up. Lockers, front, rear, low tire pressure, and then you just gotta kind of commit, but also don't be scared to just call it. Because I almost went up the chicken route, but I'm glad I did it.
After that obstacle, you get a little bit of a breather because now it's wide open desert again. It's kick it into two-wheel drive and pick up some speed. We actually saw a mountain biker on this trail by himself, which, man, it was like 95 degrees out, so I don't know who would do that, but, you know, props to this guy. After the wide open desert, it starts to remind me of other trails in Moab, like Fins and Things or Hell's Revenge. You've got the smooth, slick rock with the trail clearly marked by the tire tracks. It's just got that ultra grippy feel.
This one is like one of those slick rock hill climbs with a dip and a steeper part. Looks super fun. Scary, I mean scary a little intimidating because of how steep it is, but these are a lot of fun. Not too bad. Super windy up here. That was a 33 degree. 30 is starting to become kind of the norm out here now. I don't really know which way to go now. I'm kind of lost up here.
This was a fun section of the trail because it was almost like a mesa or a big hill, but it had 3 different ways up, so you could go up them and down them and try different paths. The trail that I'm on now is ultimately the way to continue your trail, and you could see that because there was the white dash marks on the trail itself. There's not a lot of those on this trail, but when you do see them, just be sure to follow them.
We are now at the point of Poison Spider where everything we do from now on is the same thing on the way in, because this trail's got, you know, maybe a third of it is the way in, then there's a loop, and then you do that same third on the way back. So it's kind of like third, third, third. All right, so coming down this actually felt a little more sketchy than, honestly, maybe even going up that. But there's a lot of things I feel like that can go wrong because as you're coming down, the whole thing is tilting you to passenger, so it feels like you're gonna wanna be thrown off. So the way I came down here and then did a hard passenger to try to come down straight. And once my feet hit the ground, I was able to crank it back driver. So I think that's probably your safest bet. It worked out good for me. Definitely a little flex, but it seemed like one of the safest routes.
Out and back trails typically aren't my favorite because a lot of the trail, or half the time, is spent redoing stuff you already did. And you know me, I always love doing new stuff, but to be honest, a trail like this, going down these obstacles is a whole new experience. So it actually felt like a completely new part of the trail, taking everything in reverse. I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys, because obstacles like this, I typically like to show the entire attempt from start to finish without many cuts, just because it's educational for you guys to see what you're going to be up against. But I understand it can slow the pacing down of the video. But yeah, leave a comment below. Do you like when I show long takes like this, or would you rather me chop them up, speed them up, make it a little bit quicker for you guys to view?
If you're buying a new Jeep, spend the money to get the front trail cam. It is invaluable. I've almost had it on like this entire trail. It's insane how amazing it is. I can just see absolutely everything. It just gives me so much confidence on the trail.
Well, once you get to this plateau, you are pretty much on the home stretch. It is beautiful out here, and I would say stop. If you've got the time, park, pull over, look at these amazing views. That's something I actually wish I would have done, but it was our second trail of the day, so we were feeling pretty tired. This was about 9 hours, 10 hours of off-roading, but if I was to do it again, like, I'd park it right here and just take it all in. So in the beginning of the video, you might remember this obstacle. It was one of the very first ones. It took me 3 attempts because I kept getting hung up. And right where my passenger tire is right there, that's where I was getting hung up because I was not close enough to the rock on the right side of the screen. So same thing going down. You're actually going to make sure you hug the right as best you can. And you're going to see that's what I do here. And I'm able to get down. If I was to go too far to the left, I probably would have high centered, banged my rear bumper quite a bit. So definitely think about that when you're on your way up.
You got it.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I loved this trail. It's definitely one of those ones you might want to give a full day to, because for me it took 5.5 hours. It was the second trail we did today, and I felt like we rushed it a little bit just because it was the second trail. We were feeling a little bit fatigued, so I would spend a little bit more time if you started your day with this one, maybe did a shorter one later. But overall, amazing. It pushed me to the limits, lots of good views, some kind of scary stuff, but I highly recommend this. You guys got to check this off your list. Leave a comment below if you've done this trail before. Did you do all the hard obstacles, or the ones you kind of went around, or you have any tips? Maybe there's lines that I didn't do that you thought you could do a little bit better. I'd love to hear it. I'm always trying to learn and connect with you guys. Like the video, subscribe please for more. I got a lot more coming.